The Punjab and Haryana High Court has cancelled Rampal's bail in the 2006 murder case. He had been on bail in the case since 2008. Now, the High Court bench said that the bail of the 2nd April 2008 case is cancelled because he's going to be arrested immediately. Now, he will be produced in court at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Remember, after his arrest last night, he was taken to the Panchkula hospital in Haryana for a medical test. Now, his condition was reported to be normal, except for a slight increase in blood pressure. He will be produced before the High Court today. Now, along with him, 425 of his supporters were also arrested.
मेडिकल रिपोर्ट आ चुकी है, उसमें है कि आप बिल्कुल सही है, लेकिन कोर्ट को गुमराह कहीं ना कहीं किया गया। ये कहा जाता रहा कि आप अस्वस्थ है, जिसकी वजह से कोर्ट में पेश नहीं हो पाए।
अब स्वस्थ हो गया, मैं पहले बीमार था।
रामपाल जी, आपकी जो बेल एप्लीकेशन थी वो भी अब रिजेक्ट कर दी गई है, जो 2008 में आपको बेल मिली थी कोर्ट की तरफ से, उसके बारे में क्या कहना है?
धन्यवाद।
जो पूरा विवाद हुआ उसमें 6 लोगों की जान गई, तो आपको कोई अफसोस है उस बात का?
बहुत अफसोस है जी।
नहीं, जो आपने अपने अनुयायियों को ढाल बनाया और आप पीछे छुपे रहे,
मैंने किसी को नहीं, वो
आप सही मानते हैं?
मैंने नहीं बनाया किसी को, वो अपने आप ही बन रहे थे, मुझे भी रोक रखा था।
Pronouncing its order, the division bench ordered that the bail granted by the High Court to Baba Rampal in this case on 2nd of April 2008 stands cancelled. The application has been allowed and the state has been directed to produce Rampal before the bench today at 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
पेश करेंगे और कहाँ पेश करेंगे?
अभी कोई टिप्पणी नहीं की जा सकती, सारा मामला सब जुडिस है और जैसे ही कोई कार्रवाई होती है तो आपको उचित माध्यम के द्वारा सूचित कर दिया जाएगा।
आज ही पेश किया जाएगा। हेल्थ चेकअप बार-बार हो रहा है, तो हेल्थ के बारे में आपका क्या कहना है?
इसमें कोई टिप्पणी नहीं दी जा सकती।
पेश आज ही करेंगे।
एक व्यवस्थित तरीके से आपको सारी बात बता दी जाएगी। कुछ भी नहीं कहा जा सकता अभी, ये सारा मामला सब जुडिस है।
And after days of stubborn resistance that turned Barwala town into a war zone, controversial religious leader Rampal was arrested from his fortified ashram in a late-night swoop. But at least 2,000 of his staunch supporters are still inside the Satlok ashram, which means that the operation is still not over. Questions still persist over whether they are part of the group that guarded Rampal all this while and the kind of arms that they possess. And in retaliation, whether they will now launch an attack on the cops. Over the last 2 weeks of the standoff, the self-styled Godman's private armed force has played a key role in protecting him. And this is in fact a worrying concern, considering that many of his staunch supporters have in fact been trained in the military. And the Haryana cops, however, will continue their operation, as they say that over 2,000 supporters are still holed up in the ashram. Remember, today is also the day where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has in fact arrived in India and will take stock of the situation. Ankit Tyagi, who's been tracking the story very closely, now joining us live. Ankit, this is really worrying, considering that law may have caught up with Rampal. He's been arrested. He's going to be produced in High Court today. But what is another concern now is that the operation is still not over. There are 2,000 supporters still inside the ashram.
Well, since morning, of course, the information that we were getting was about 2,000 people that's still inside. But since morning, about 300 to 400 have come out. I just spoke to the senior officials of Haryana Police who are in charge of the operation. They say about 1,500 to 1,600 people still inside. And according to them, they are hoping that in the next few hours, this entire operation, in fact, will be over. Then they will get a search warrant, go inside the ashram, conduct a search, sanitize the entire area, and after that they will call the operation off. But also very quickly, two points that the police is now looking into. They also believe that there are about 300 to 400 of hardcore Rampal supporters, in fact members of his so-called army, those who have been prepared by, in fact trained by the forces, ex-army and ex-police. They are the ones, those who are still inside. Negotiations, in fact, are going on for them to come out, because police believes that many of them are, despite Rampal giving up, may present some sort of stiff resistance. So that is what one worry is. Also, if you go around the ashram, although we are not allowed inside the ashram as of now, there are many places where you can see people burning stuff that might be literature or other papers that are holed up inside the ashram that his disciples do not want the police to get their hands on. So that sort of things are going on, but the senior officials are hopeful that this entire operation will be over in the next few hours.
Right, Ankit, now yesterday, in fact, the MHA had come down very hard on the Haryana government, claiming that they had an extremely lackadaisical approach to this entire issue, considering that they had intelligence inputs prior to this entire sort of war zone situation taking place outside the ashram. Narendra Modi has landed back in India today. What's likely to happen now?
Well, of course, it's highly unlikely that the Prime Minister is going to make any statement as far as this situation is concerned. Apparently, the Home Minister has made it very clear that the Home Ministry is not happy with the way the Haryana government has handled this entire situation. We are expecting some heads to roll, but that is only going to happen, Sanjana, once the operation is over. In between the operation, it will be difficult for the officers to suspend anybody or to take action, because that will affect the morale of the forces here. The brutality that was unleashed on the media, on that also a lot of questions being asked of the Qatar government. So of course we are expecting heads to roll, some sort of inquiry also being ordered in that. But more or less the Haryana government still patting their back, saying that we have done a successful operation. The casualty figure is extremely low, and that is why, in fact, let me just quickly show you around what is happening just behind me. Some sort of a commotion there. Senior police officials right in behind, where I'm standing behind that.
Right.
You can see the kind of area that has been cordoned off. It seems that there is a contingent another contingent of the devotees or the supporters of Rampal, those who are going to come out. That is why you can see a few police officials going in. Till yesterday, the police could not even, till night, could not even muster the courage to go to this gate. But now this final gate is open. Inside, we are expecting, because of this commotion and the way the policemen are being lined, this is the first that is happening since morning. People were coming out on their own, but right now you can see on your live screens that there is a contingent of policemen, those who are going on. Also that family that you see in your screens, they are the ones who have just come out. But for the first time since this operation began, the police is entering the ashram. Sanjana, that's the breaking news that we are getting right now.
Okay.
The police finally entering the gates of ashram, first time since the time this operation has began.
Ankit Tyagi bringing us that crucial update. This is, remember, as the Haryana police is in fact entering the ashram, continuing their operation. It is worrying considering there are over 2,000 supporters that are still holed up. Ankit brought us this ground report just a couple of moments ago. Let's just listen in.
Self-styled godman Rampal was arrested yesterday by Haryana police, and even almost 12 hours later, there are still these devotees who are trickling in from inside. That's the ashram, Satlok ashram, which has been, of course, the battlefield so far in Hisar for the last 3-4 days. And you can see that there are still people, those who are inside. I spoke to senior police officials, and according to their estimate, about 2,000 people still inside, despite Rampal giving up yesterday. All this could happen because of the persistent effort of the Haryana police. They, in fact, yesterday there was the negotiations, backroom channels still talking to Rampal's aide, asking him to surrender so that some sort of a bloodbath could have been avoided. This is the main gate that has been now opened since the time we were here. This is the first time we have seen this gate completely open. In fact, this is where the only entrance of the ashram, entrance and exit of the ashram is, and because of this, Rampal was able to, his men in fact were able to almost hold hostage many people, those who were inside. It was that led to police being very cautious in their approach. This is the first time we have in fact come. This was in the main battleground for Rampal's men. Police was on the other side. Few walls were broken, and only after that they could in fact go in a little further. The main board of this Satlok ashram that you can see right in front of us, we will of course try and get inside inside as and when the administration allows us. You can also see where the kind of arrangements that were made here all around. The police says because of the sheer number of people, those who were inside, they had to be extra cautious. They didn't want any sort of bloodbath. But finally, despite the allegations of mismanagement, despite whatever happened, Rampal is now in the clutches of the cops of Haryana, and of course today he is expected to be produced before a magistrate so that a transit remand could be taken, and then tomorrow the big hearing in front of the Haryana and Punjab High Court. In Hisar with camera person Vinod Ankit Tyagi for Headlines Today.
Meanwhile, Headlines Today has learned that fresh FIRs will be registered against Rampal in connection with the 6 deaths at his ashram that reportedly took place during the standoff with the police. Remember, 5 women and a child were killed at the Satlok ashram in the standoff between the police and Rampal supporters. An FIR will also be registered against the manager of the Satlok ashram. This is not the first time that Rampal and his followers will be charged with murder, forgery, arson, threatening and assaulting people. The first FIR dates way back to 2006 when Rampal's followers clashed with the Arya Samaj followers, resulting in the death of 1 individual. In the week-long crackdown, Rampal has been charged for firing and endangering innocent lives, keeping followers hostage inside the ashram, and failed self-immolation and attempt by 50 followers.